Hello, 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 and welcome to my kitchen. My name is Beverly Lucas, and I am the host of For the Love of Cooking Fridays. What do I do on Fridays? I try to show you how to make a meal or a dish or a dessert that is better than the restaurant. It is always better than the restaurant. So, what are we going to make today, Beverly? Today we're making something that I have never made before. We are using Chilean bass. I was looking for haddock or cod, and I actually went to 2 grocery stores, and I didn't like the way it looked, so I ended up getting this Chilean sea bass. This is a very dense, but it's flaky also, and it is expensive. So it costs $9.99 for each of these cuts of Chilean bass. For this, we're just making a simple sauce. We're going to be using some lemon, some butter, garlic, and we're going to top it with some seasonings, just a little bit of paprika, and I'm using this sazon, and I only got this because it said that it contained coriander, because the recipe that I looked at said to buy coriander, and I didn't want to buy that big jar, not knowing when I was going to use it again. To go along with the Chilean bass, I'm making one of my favorites, and that is just some fresh green beans and baby potatoes. What else do we have? We have some capers to go over the fish to give it that briny bite that I love so much. And we have some cilantro, and I'm going to be using some chicken bouillon cubes. So that's all the ingredients. This is really simple. It's not going to take any more than 20 minutes. So this video should only be about 10 minutes. So right now I have my water boiling, as you can see behind me. That is for my potatoes, and I am using baby potatoes, both white and red. And what I did to the water is I made sure that the water was salted so that it salts the potatoes. So I'm just going to go ahead while I have you here, and I'm going to put those in. And I'm going to cook them until they are fork tender, probably about 8 to 10 minutes. So what I've done is I have melted 3 tablespoons of butter. And to that, I'm going to add 1/4 cup of olive oil. And we're just going to mix that. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the bass. I'm going to use this baking pan, and I'm just going to put it in here. I did wash, because you know we wash meat, we wash fish, so I did just rinse it off, and I also made sure that it was dry. So now I'm going to take this, and I'm just going to pour this over the fish, or over the bass. My favorite fish, like my mom's, is haddock, and something must be going on with the haddock that I could not find any today. On top of this, I'm going to put a little sazon, a little paprika, and some capers. Said about 2 tablespoons. See if we can even get that to stay on there. That is about, it's about 2 teaspoons, but we're gonna go with it. And then we have to grate we have to zest our lemon. So I'm gonna show you how we're gonna do that. Here is our zester. It doesn't take much, just a little one. I have different sizes, and this is from the dollar store, which is one of my favorite stores for little gadgets. When you're zesting, you just want to make sure that you keep moving the lemon around, because you only want the zest, and the zest gives it a burst of flavor. So we have the brininess of the capers, and then we have the citrus of the lemon zest. And I think that's good. So we're going to make sure all that is on there, on the fish, and some of it will get on the sauce. Okay, I'm going to put a little salt and some pepper. You know what? I'm going to take this and I'm going to put a little bit on the sides because it's thick. And I'm going to put some more capers on top. Yep, that's good. That's more like it. Now I have my oven at 400 degrees and I'm going to keep it in there for about 15 minutes because one thing that I do not want to do is I do not want to overcook, and there's a thin line between fish being done and fish being overcooked. So let's put this in and set the timer for 15 minutes. I almost forgot one of my ingredients, and that is the garlic. So I'm not using fresh garlic, I'm using minced garlic. And so I'm gonna make sure that I spread this out over the fish. Okay, now I think we have all of the flavors that we need. Now I'm gonna put it in the oven. Okay, while the potatoes are cooking and the fish is baking, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get started with our green beans. Again, this is very simple. I love fresh green beans, especially with potatoes. This morning, I just happened to have made some bacon. So I made a BLT, bacon, lettuce, and tomatoes, and I put it inside of a croissant. And that's what I brought for lunch today at work. So I've never washed this because I made it this morning. So I have all this bacon grease in here. It's not a lot, but that's how I'm gonna start out my beans. I'm going to take the beans, and I was gonna blanch them, but I'm going to try something a little bit different. So I have the grease from the bacon, and I'm gonna let this warm up, and then I'm gonna put the beans in, and then I'm going to use, I think, just one chicken bouillon cube and just a cup of water, and I'm just gonna let that just cook just ever so slightly. And I think this is hot. And I'm just gonna take these beans here. And let me show you what I did with the beans. They were in bulk, so I got to pick out the beans that I want, but I always bring them home. I wash them, and then I clip the ends. And if they're too long, I just, cut them in half. So this should work out for us. Let me get a spoon. I'm just rolling them around in the grease. And no, they will not be greasy. And I'm gonna put in that cup of water because it is almost like blanching them. And I'm just gonna put in this one bouillon cube, and I'm gonna let that simmer. Put the top on there, and I'll come back and mix that up once the bouillon cube melts in there. And now let's look at our potatoes and see. They're not falling off the fork yet, but they're pretty tender. So I'll probably take these off in a few minutes. It's coming together. So our beans are coming along. The chicken bouillon has dissolved. I'm going to add to this about a teaspoon of garlic, 2 tablespoons of butter, and we're gonna give a little black pepper. I'm not adding any salt because of the bouillon cube. I'm gonna mix all of this. Probably could have put some onions in here too. So I just put a little bit of onion powder in there. The potatoes are done, so I took them off and they're sitting in the strainer. Put the top back on here. Okay, I think our fish is ready, so I'm gonna go ahead and take it out. see what it looks like. Let me baste it a little bit. That looks great. Take that off for a minute. Okay, let's continue. Our green beans are just about done, so I'm going to take those potatoes and I'm just going to mix them in here just like this. They're already hot, but they can soak up a little bit of this bean stock that I have here. And I think because of the potatoes, I'm going to put another tablespoon of butter. So our meal is complete. Let's put it all together. Look at that Chilean bass. Look at that. Look how beautiful that is. With the capers and the lemon. It is going to be delicious. So I found out that Chilean bass is expensive because it comes from very deep waters, from the southern Atlantic, the Pacific, and the Indian Ocean. So it is, the article talked about supply and demand also, and that the demand is high. So therefore, the prices can be high. And very few Chilean bass are found near Chile. So I thought that was very interesting. Here is our second dish. Here are our potatoes, which we cook separately, and our green beans. And this makes a complete meal. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to taste this. And I sprinkled some cilantro over the fish. And it's dense, but it's flaky. And it has it's mild. It's kind of buttery. It's delicious. It's very rich though. So I'll probably only eat one of those. Let's taste our potatoes. Which are still hot. Delicious, and just a little bit of our green beans. Cooking them in chicken bouillon makes all the difference. And then with just a little bit of onion powder and some garlic, it's simple, but it is simply delicious. Thank you so much for spending this time with me on For the Love of Cooking. I hope that you have enjoyed watching me cook this simple meal. And it's bass, but you could use cod, you could use tilapia, you could use haddock of the fish that I was looking for. But the recipe is very, very simple, and it's very light. It's nutritious. It's a lot of protein. So why don't you go ahead and make that? If you like this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you have not, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Until next time, this is Beverly Lucas, and I am signing off.